Shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, just some social shit for everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I made this be myself, so hear me. Woo! I mean, like, we can pull that clown shit away. There's some real shit for you. I'm spazzing right now, so listen, let's go. Yeah. It's in their bones, the thugs in harmony for the love of the money. Then fall victim for the cookie, then turn pussy, it's lonely. You said you hold it down when life get rough, we're here now, so show me. We move them losses to them wins. Heavy pounds, we make it ends meet. Converse with only few who make me feel like I be 10 feet.
What's happening, people? It's G. We're back in the building. We're live in the flesh. No, we're not live in the flesh, actually. This is a pre-recorded, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry I lied. I'm sorry I lied, man. But guys, please make sure you are smashing that like, sharing, and subscribing to the channel, man. But obviously, we're here. We're doing a new show, man. A new show I wanted to bring, for the coming season, the 24-25 season, where we're going to take a look at, the other leagues. So, we've got Ligue 1, we've got Serie A, Bundesliga, and of course, La Liga. I chose those. I could have chosen any others, to be fair. I mean, I could have chose the Eredivisie. I could have chose the Portuguese league. Could have chose the Belgium league. I could have chosen many other leagues. But I decided, what? I think it's best that we go with these leagues. I think it's the leagues that most of us maybe not necessarily follow, but we keep an eye out on. You know what I mean? It's the leagues that I guess as Premier League fans, it's the ones that we respect the most, and it's the ones that I can easily kind of catch up with, if I'm being totally honest with you. So I said, you know what, it was better to do it this way. But yeah, man, we're calling it the Euro Club Fourfold. So I picked four teams that we're going to focus on throughout the season. Every single week, we're going to try to every single week bring out an episode for you guys. Going to mostly try and do it live. So I will find a day, potentially Monday evenings. I think that might work better for my schedule. It won't just be me alone. I will be bringing on, various different guests, various different people. I'm going to also try and get, fans of these teams that we're about to, get into, that you guys have, of course, seen on the thumbnail and stuff like that. Gonna try and get them on if I possibly can throughout the season to talk about their team. And I think one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this was just because, we as Premier League fans, right, or as main Premier League fans, I feel like at times we're a bit, and word to savage, like I feel like we're a bit snobbish. We're a bit snobbish when it comes to when we look at these other leagues, when we look at players from these other leagues. We've seen the conversation recently, people talking about Lenny Yoro, going to Manchester United, or I don't know if that deal was officially done, but that talk, and a lot of fans are like, oh, he's not even that good. He's only had one season in a Farmers League and stuff like that. And I think it's that term, Farmers League, which at first, yeah, it was funny and stuff like that, but after a while, I was like, right, like that just like, is that what you really think of a league? Is that it's a Farmers League? If I'm being honest with you, a Farmers League, by the definition of, or the definition of the actual word, really, the Premier League is a Farmers League. You've got a team who's just won it 4 times in a row. There's no competition. That's it. They've won it 4 times. Don't care about the point totals. Don't care about the tallies. They've won it 4 times in a row. So technically, by the definition of what we all call it and what we all say, it is a Farmers League, right? We would have to agree with that. So, but people won't say that, though. They'll say, no, the Premier League is the best. And I'm not saying it is or isn't. I guess it's all subjective. I think all the leagues are very, very good, especially when you consider, in my personal opinion, when we're looking at, like, I always think about leagues and look at like their homegrown talent. And when we look around these leagues, I think most of these leagues, if not all of them that we're about to, dive into this season, they're all better than the English talent that is, at our disposal. Whether that's just because of sheer numbers, whether that's for whatever reason. For me personally, that's how I kind of look at it. Now, of course, you then look at the top leagues and you say Premier League. We've got all of these top players: Kevin De Bruyne, the Rodris, the Haaland, of this kind of work, the Van Dijks, the Salahs, and all of these kind of people, right? And you think, yeah, we've got this, top talent, but would I call that the best league? Again, like I said, it's all subjective. It's your own personal preference. If you think it's the best in your eyes. It's not really an argument to make. I don't personally think it is, but it's, if that's what people think, then yeah, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But we then don't have enough, would I say, somewhat education about other leagues. And doing a show like this, for me as well, it's not just you know, just for the sake of doing a show. It's also to, because I wanted to learn about these leagues. I wanted to, you know, find out why certain teams do really, really well, or why certain teams are, you know, performing above average and etc. Or are they even performing above average, you know, and are we just, you know, because we're not watching the leagues, because we're not focused on certain players, you know, is that one of the reasons, you know, one of the main things, you know, that I kind of learnt last season, you know, being a Liverpool supporter is, you know, Liverpool facing off against a team like Atalanta, again, absolutely slapped, you know, in that tie. And people, you know, Liverpool fans and stuff, you know, being shocked. Oh my goodness, how can? But when I spoke to a few people, and big up to Strasbourg Steve, who is going to be one of the people I'm going to hopefully have on this show throughout the season quite a lot, is he wasn't surprised at all. In fact, he actually had Atalanta going through. In fact, he was probably one of only a few people who thought that. Do you get what I mean? And that shocked me in itself, because I was like, right. And again, that's because of my own ignorance, my own, you know, not being able to, you know, let's keep falling out, not being able to, you know, really dive into other leagues and really take a look at the teams and stuff like that. It's all well and good knowing all the top players from some of these leagues. Yeah, that's great. But when we're then talking about, you know, certain other teams, and, you know, like I say, the Atalantas, you know, the Bolognas, the Genoas and stuff like that, when you're then looking at these Stuttgarts and, you know, these various different teams, why are people surprised? Really and truly, if you watch the league, you wouldn't be surprised. It's a bit like saying, if you didn't watch, you know, the season that Brighton got into the Europa League, that season under Roberto De Zerbi, if you didn't watch the Premier League, you'd be baffled. You'd be baffled. Brighton, how the hell did they get there? Brighton don't even know who they are. You know what I mean? Some people don't even know who Brighton are. Guess what? We watched the Premier League. We know why they got there. They played good football. They were a good team that season. All of this stuff, blah, blah, blah. We can, you know, you can get into all of that. Why? Because we watched the leagues. So again, it's just really just to kind of really show, man. Honestly, it's just to really show. Hopefully you guys, you know, like the series, you know, throughout the season. I'm going to try and remain as consistent as I possibly can. By hook or by crook, I'm going to, you know, always put out at least one, whether it be a live, whether it be pre-recorded. That's going to be the kind of aim, you know, for the season. So hopefully you guys kind of rock with it. And of course, we're going to also learn about so many different players, man. So many different players. And we're going to stop this kind of, oh, but he plays in this league. Forget all of that, because the reality is the top 4 or 5 leagues, you know, in the world, or in the UEFA rankings, are these leagues. So the reality is they are good leagues. Do you know what I mean? Like, we can't keep sitting here and thinking, oh yeah, but he plays in France, and because he plays in France, my player who plays for this team, it doesn't work like that, man. Because these times when you're looking at other players across everywhere, I'm pretty sure most people would say they want to sign Nico Williams all of a sudden. Plays in La Liga. But La Liga is not, in some people's eyes, it's not better than the Premier League. So why would you want to sign him? He's not one of the world-class players in that league. Definitely not. He might be on his way there, but he's not one of the world-class players. Lamine Yamal. Right now, people are looking at Yamal as, boy, this guy looking like he could be the best, or one of the best right wingers out there. 16 years of age, playing in La Liga. He's not playing in England. Why? Why is that? Because there's other teams, there's other players, there's other things that go on, managers that we look at. Liverpool getting in on a slot from the Dutch league. You get, obviously we don't know how that's going to pan out, but you know that's a manager from that league. You got Tottenham, you know, Postecoglou, you know, coming from Scotland, and was it Japan or something? But you know, prior to that, you know, you've got all of these. There's so many different things that I just feel like we're all missing out. We're fully missing out, and I think that annoys me in conversations that we're then having with people when we're talking about certain players. I don't mind if you've watched a player and you've made your decision. That's cool. When you haven't watched a player, don't be making decisions, man. Like, for me, I'm like, I don't want to hear your opinion on a player, because you haven't watched them long enough to have an opinion on a player. You've seen 2 games or 2 highlight reels, and all of a sudden this player is not good enough, or that player is this, and it's just like, what? How? I don't get how we can, in this society, how we can forge these opinions, and these strong opinions as well on these players. These times you ain't watched man for long enough to even form that kind of opinion. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's just, yeah, it's just funny. It's just weird to me. But like I said, man, that's one of the, you know, main reasons as to why I wanted to do this kind of series and stuff like that throughout the season. And again, man, I want people to drop in the comments and stuff like that. And again, like I said, we will be going live a few of the episodes and as well. So I want people to, you know, let me know in the comment section, is there a player, you know, maybe, because I'm going to be focusing on these 4 teams, you know, specifically next season. But maybe, of course, whilst I'm focusing on those 4 teams, say the team that we've got in, League I might be looking at a couple of other results. And of course, when they play some of these teams, you start to notice other players. Boom, all of a sudden, you start tracking that player. What's this player doing? Again, I'm not saying I'm not asking for everyone to be scouts. That's not what we're here for. At the end of the day, we just want to watch football. We want to enjoy watching what we're watching, etc. But also, subconsciously, same time, however you want to say it, I want everybody like to be able to just think, okay, cool, like have a bit more nuance to the way that you look at the game. And I think that's lacking severely in football at this current moment in time, in terms of football fans, whether it be online or offline. I feel like it's lacking so much. Like we're so quick to judge, we're so quick to say this player is good, this player is bad, and then depending on which way it then goes, thereafter, it's like a problem. All of a sudden, oh, you know what? I always knew this person was shit, or why is he so shit? It was like, well, you put him on a flipping pedestal, from the beginning. What do you expect? You get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's to stop all of that, man, because I feel like then the conversations will be a lot better that people will be having, next season and stuff like that. Because at the moment, some of these conversations, some of the things that I read and some of the things that I listen to, and I'm always just like, okay, is that the kind of general consensus with, certain people and certain players, certain teams, certain managers, etc. I'm just like, wow. you know what I mean? And I don't feel like people understand how stupid they sound at times when they make some of these comments. Not all of them, because at the end of the day, it's all opinion based, and football is an opinion based game. Outside of the facts of who's the winner and who's the loser, it's an opinion based game. So yeah, man, that's kind of one of my my main things for next season, man. On my kind of my vigilante arc for next season. Call me. Nah, I don't want to say the Punisher because I ain't really out here killing people or nothing. I don't know, man. Call me Batman. Call me Batman. Call me Batman. But let's get into the first one anyway. The first team that I wanted to, take a look at next season, and that's of course Lyon. Lyon. Lyon are an interesting team. Very, very interesting team, man. Got some good players, and we'll run through their squad in a moment. They got some good players. Last season, they ended up finishing sixth. So, of course, they get themselves a Europa League spot. It's crazy when I think about it because, obviously they ended up finishing the season really, really well, right? And, getting into a European spot is fantastic for them. But Jesus Christ, at the beginning of last season, it was looking absolutely crazy. It was looking crazy for Lyon. I'll be so honest, man. I think the first 12 games, it was like their lowest ever points total. Like, it was just mad. But of course, they had the whole, from everything I've gathered, everything I've read, it seemed like they had this whole problem with like the takeover, ownership issues, all of that kind of kerfuffle. They weren't allowed to spend as much money in that summer window of last season. So that kind of hampered them a lot. They let go of course, players like Bradley Barcola, who went to PSG. You've got Lukiba, who's gone to RB Leipzig. Two massive talents, very, very good players. Players they would have blatantly have not needed, so to speak, but players that you would have thought if they stay at Lyon one more season, I feel like this team, considering they finished sixth last season, I definitely was looking at that fourth spot. If I'm being honest, if I'm looking at it now, considering Brest were able to finish in third, Lyon definitely could have, pushed themselves up, further in that league had they had, these kind of players, and also being able to actually sign, more players and, spend a bit more money. They were really, really hampered, hands tied, behind their backs kind of vibe. So it was really, really peak for them. They've obviously got a player to watch who I really, really like. I'm still kind of shocked that he hasn't made that move yet, but that might be coming, etc., etc. Who knows? And that's obviously Ryan Cherki, attacking midfielder, left, right, through the middle, wherever you want to kind of put him. This guy, technically, this guy is on like a whole different planet. He's on a whole different planet. I'm so like one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most technically gifted individuals I've seen in football currently at this moment in time. So I promise you, his technical ability is crazy. Crazy dribbling, close ball control, passing techniques, like it's all really, really top notch. I don't know as to why he hasn't made that big move. I don't know if it's because clubs maybe don't trust it. Maybe he might be one of those kind of players where you're like, is he putting in enough effort? Like he. And again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know him or I've followed him, so to speak, to see if he's had any scandals or anything of the sort. But when I think about Cherki, I always think I don't need to become one of, like, maybe he's just loyal to Lyon as well. That's another thing. He could be on a crazy contract, for example. I don't really know. But when I think about it, I'm always like, I don't need to fall into that kind of category of guys where you're just like, yeah, streets never forget type of guy, never really fulfilled the potential, but you knew he was a baller type of, individual. I don't really want that for him, because I do feel that he is actually a really, really good player. And he's still young enough to still, of course, he's not like he's 30. Do you get what I mean? So he can still go on and potentially, make that move. Maybe it's a timing thing, with someone like him. Again, he's 20 years of age. And I think what's so mad is I'm talking about him like he's 24, 25. Reality is, as I said, he's only 20 years of age. But because he's been on the scene since he was like 16, when I say on the scene in terms of watching him really for like the last 4 years, seeing what he was doing for the Lyon youth teams, he just seen, when you look at a player like a Pogba, if everyone remembers what Pogba was like at Manchester United, when you just watch a player and you're like, this player is infinitely better than everybody else on the pitch. Like he's playing like the senior pro amongst these youngsters. That's exactly how I looked at, someone like a Ryan Cherki. So yeah, like I said, he's only 20 years of age. Maybe his time will come. And the thing is, like I said, I'm talking, it's just mad because I'm talking about him as if he's like this, 24-year-old. Like he does have time, and I don't want to put no, no pressure or nothing like that. He started out in that 1920 season anyway, so maybe then, from there we've only really had those 4 years. So yeah, I think his time will come. His time will come, man. And I think maybe give him. It's clever because he's obviously staying at a club like Lyon, who produce very, very good talented individuals from their academy, one of the best academies in France, with the players that they've obviously produced over the years. Maybe just feel that this is just the best thing for his development. Again, I'm not, someone to really know, in that kind of regards. But again, we'll just have to kind of, wait and see. When we take a look at, of course, the Lyon squad, as I mentioned, of course, they got Ryan Cherki in their team. In terms of notable names that I guess people would know, Kaleta Carr, if Liverpool fans remember him, he was the centre back that I think we was looking to sign, didn't end up signing in the end. Dejan Lovren, Mamadou Sarr, he's actually a very good centre back, by the way, young centre back. I like him. Tagliafico, Jesus Christ, I remember him. He was a pretty decent player. Maxence as well. He's a decent player. Mangala, Nottingham Forest fans will remember him. Tolizo, of course, former Bayern Munich midfielder. Who else did they got in it? Maitland Niles. I was shocked by this one because I forgot he even went there. But listen, Maitland Niles is only 26 years of age. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like his career is even over. Obviously, Ben Rama as well. He signed last season. Gift Orban, he's a very talented individual. Signed from, I think, from Belgium, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Genk, I believe. Nigerian forward. A lot of people have been speaking about him. He looks like the next one up in terms of these Nigerian forwards, even though Osimhen is still kind of young enough to kind of, stamp it his own. So they've got, as I mentioned before, of course, they've still got Ryan Cherki, Lacazette in there as well as the captain, in the team. Yeah, they've got a nucleus of a team, I would say. They've definitely got a nucleus of a side. And I think now it is more just about next season, obviously this summer, hopefully they'll be able to get some signings in, spend a bit more money, because they were able to spend the money in January. That's why they were able to make that massive push, going forward. Even, of course, they ended up changing manager and stuff like that. Fair enough. But even by the reports and everything that I'm looking at, it wasn't even so much that the manager came in, Pierre Sage, or Sage, however you would pronounce it. It's not even the fact that he came in and tactically he was Guardiola or light version of Guardiola. It wasn't even that. It was just purely the fact that they had their hands tied behind their backs last season, couldn't really spend the money, financial restraints. So, it was always putting them, on the back burner, losing good players. Like I said, the Barcolas and the Lucabas as well. Like a team like Lyon, it's going to impact you, because then they were able to sign the likes of, your Ben Ramos and people of that kind of ilk. From when you're then able to do things like that, of course, you put yourself, in a better position. And again, as you saw, that run that they were then having towards, the end of the season, it then puts them in good stead. You know what I mean? It then puts them into that contention for, oh, well, look at that. They ended up finishing, as I mentioned before, in that Europa League spot. So definitely, I think, a team who are going to be very interesting next season. Going to be very, very interesting to see what they do in the Europa League. They've never won a Europa League title. Which I found quite interesting. I didn't really know that. But yeah, they've never won a European title. They've obviously won League A 7 times. They've got some cups. They've got some League Cups, Super Cups, and stuff like that. So who knows? Maybe go on a little bit of a European run potentially in the Europa League next season, and then they'll just take it from there. But that's going to be a team to watch, I think. Anyway, Lyon next season. Next up, Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich. Now, the reason why I chose Bayern Munich was because I feel like I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like they're at like crossroads because they're such a weird team when I think about them. Like they are a bit weird in terms of you're the best club in Germany. We know that, right? You're the best club in Germany. Cool, whatever, blah blah blah. But you're almost just obviously with Bayern Leverkusen doing so well last season. I mean, they ended up finishing third behind Stuttgart, which is crazy. With obviously with Thomas Tuchel in charge, but with Bayern Leverkusen doing so well, that looks like it. I mean, with Xabi Alonso staying at the moment, they've kept the kind of nucleus of their team. They're adding players as well. Bayern Leverkusen. With all of that happening, they're almost at like this kind of crossroads because it's weird. They've still got top players, in their team. It's not like we're talking about a team that don't have top players. What Jamal Musialas of this world, heck, Matisse Tell, a very, very good player. You still got Kimmich in there. At this current moment in time, they still have the lit, in their team. Manuel Neuers, Goretzkas, and they've still got like top players in and around. I'm missing so many players, by the way, but they've still got a lot of them. We'll go through it, but with them still missing a lot of players, right? They've still got a lot of top players, should I say? So it's not like they're in that kind of position of, well, we don't have that. They do have that, but for some reason, last season and the last couple of seasons, I've always even prior to last season, they won the league on that last day. Dortmund looked like they were going to win it. Even that, it just looks like when you get to the end of something. And they've scraped, when you scrape the pot just to get that last bit of rice, but the rice that's not burnt or hard or whatever. Yeah, that's what they did in that season. Because then the next season, there was nothing there, man. I just felt like they were relatively poor, so to speak, for their standards anyway. So getting in someone like a Vincent Kompany, obviously former Burnley manager, interesting choice. But maybe they wanted to go in this kind of direction. His style of play, the way he had Burnley playing in the Championship and in the Premier League. Now, of course, in the Premier League, it seemed naive, right? Because they ended up getting relegated playing that way. But maybe, and again, I don't know, maybe Bayern Munich looked at it and said, your style of play will suit the players that we do have. And with the players that we do have, and of course, one of the players to watch for next season in signing Mikel Olise, from Crystal Palace, with him, with the Jamal Musialas, with these Matisse Tells and these kind of players, that might be something, potentially to watch, for next season. And again, he's got this thing about, young players. He had quite a lot of young players at Burnley. He was at Anderlecht before. Again, style of play, what he's like with the young players. Is he able to nurture them? Is he able to get the best out of them, playing the best football that, he can possibly play? Maybe that is something that, potentially they looked at, because I'm still a little bit baffled. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm not going to, try and bamboozle anybody and, whatever. It is still a little bit baffling that they did get someone like him in, but I can see the method to the madness, so to speak. I guess you'd have to talk, to a Bayern Munich fan really and truly to kind of see their kind of reaction. But, as you see here, of course, Manuel Neuer, Matthias de Ligt, Upamecano, Kim Min-jae, even though he's been kind of wishy-washy, Eric Dyer, of course, Alphonso Davies, Rafael Guerrero, Joshua Kimmich, Mazuri, Bowie as well. They signed in Palhinha. They've obviously signed in Pavlovic, who's a very good young defensive midfielder. Goretzka, Lima, who's actually shocked me. My favorite player, Jamal Musiala, Kingsley Coleman, Matisse Tell, Leroy Sané, Olise, Gnabry. They've even got Irakunda, the Australian international young player, very, very good. Check out my player watch, people, because he's a top player. Thomas Muller, and of course Harry Kane. So we're not talking about a team that just got a bunch of scrubs. You know what I mean? Like, Vincent Kompany isn't coming into a team that's like, yeah, man, we need to go out and sign this, and this, and because we don't have this, and that. kind of thing. No, they've still got, you know, some really, really top players in their team. So they should be, of course, last season, hopefully they're going to look at it and think, you know what, that was just a blip. That was just a one-off kind of thing. And then they kind of go from there. But, you know, of course, we just have to wait and see, man. On to the third team. It's obviously my team, man. Barcelona. If I was going to do La Liga, I wasn't going to choose anybody else. I think you all knew that. I wasn't going to choose anybody else. It was always going to be Barcelona. Last season, of course, coming in behind Real Madrid. For a while there, it looked like Girona might just, you know, finish ahead. It looked like it for a hot piece. It looked like it, but Barcelona, of course, ended up finishing there. When you look at their player, you know, their player to watch, of course, it's going to be Lamine Yamal. Who else is it going to be? Do you know what I mean? Who else is it going to be? You know, one of the stars of Euro 2024, of course, winning it. You know, how many assists did he get? But also his performances last season. Like, I don't want to even forget that, because, of course, that's the reason why he's even in the team in the first place, because of those performances, you know, that he was putting in, you know, last season. They were really, really good. And I think at this moment in time, again, just like, you know, just like Bayern Munich, I do think, you know, they're almost also at this kind of, would I say, somewhat crossroads, you know, so to speak, in terms of, yeah, obviously we know Barcelona don't really like it's weird. They buy stars, but not stars like a Real Madrid will buy Vinicius, or they'll sign, you know, Mbappe, and, you know, like they don't sign like that kind of star. Like their kind of stars are a bit more, do you know what I mean? They're more likely to make stars, you know, so to speak. I mean, you got Paul Kubasi, you know, the 17-year-old centre back, really, really good. You know what's crazy? Yeah, if I had to choose between him and Lenny Yoro, I'm picking Kubasi, you know. And it might sound biased, but he is a top centre back, and he's played at Champions League level. So for those who just think of it like that, he's really, really good. You got Alejandro Balde as well, Martinez at centre back there, Christensen still there, Kuande, Araujo, obviously the Stegen. Who else have they got in there? Bloody hell, Romeu, Gavi, Pedri, Frankie De Jong. Flipping out. Imagine that's your midfield three right there. That is your midfield three right there, all injured. All injured. Crazy injuries. As you can see here, Pedri not expected to return to August 5th. Gavi, what's his like? August 15th. De Jong, he's not until, they don't even know when he's going to come back. So hopefully he might even be able to come back before these guys. But you're talking about two of the best like youngsters out there. And these guys are always injured, man. It is crazy. Like, I don't know what it is. And of course, next season, I really want to focus on this whole injury stuff, because it is so jarring seeing these guys are constantly injured. Like, there has to be something, you know, within that. But moving on, you got Gundogan, Fernan Torres, Ansu Fati coming back from his loan, you know, from Brighton. He was supposed to be what, you know, what we're seeing from a Lamine Yamal, in terms of they were the same. Both bright, you thought, this guy, like, they were both very, very talented individuals. Is he going to be able to sustain that Yamal? Of course, we have to wait and see. But Ansu Fati, he's only 21 years of age. So maybe, look, he's still young. It's not like this guy's 25 and you're like, Jesus Christ, remember Ansu Fati back in the day? Nah, it's not that kind of party. He is someone who can still get his career back on track. Do you get what I mean? So, yeah, I hope so. He does. I hope he does. You know, number 10, they gave him that. Lionel Messi's played with him. But listen, man, Ansu Fati, he's a good player, man. Trust me and believe, he's a really good player. I actually think maybe they should play him up front. I don't think maybe, but we'll see. We'll get into that next episode. Rafinha, Vitor Roque, and Lewandowski. So if you watch my player watches, you'll see Roque is another player. Signed him last season. Wasn't really getting any game time. Really wasn't getting any game time from Javi, you know, whilst Javi was still there. Seemed a bit, obviously, of course, he's going to be frustrated that the sheer fact he's not getting that game time. It seemed weird. So I'm very interested to see what Hansi Flick is actually going to do. Because, of course, new manager coming in after Javi. I need to, and this is what I was saying to my friends, was I need to understand, with Hansi Flick coming in, is he, because his philosophy isn't the Barcelona philosophy. It's very difficult to even get that. And it's very difficult to even really understand it. You know, only managers who really can understand it are your Javis, you know, Luis Enrique's, Tito Villanova. But, you know, people of Pep Guardiola, you know, people of that kind of ilk will understand it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's the Barcelona DNA. Will Hansi Flick really understand it? That's my thing. That's what I'm looking at. And I'm nothing wrong with his football. His football is relatively fine. But is he going to be able to adapt to that? Because I think that's going to be vitally important for the supporters to then get on his side. Trust me, when it comes to these kind of teams, especially a team like a Barcelona, if you're not going to get that part right, yeesh, it's going to be a bit of a techie one. A bit of a techie one when it then comes to, you know, winning over people and stuff like that. That's where he may struggle, so to speak. But again, we'll have to wait and see. We really, really will, have to wait and see on that one. But I'm very intrigued because, as I say, Barcelona is like my second team, so I'm very intrigued to see how Hansi Flick does. I hope he does well. I hope we absolutely spank the league next season. I can't see past Real Madrid winning the league though. I just really can't see it. At this moment in time. But Barcelona, man, we got some good players, man. We got some really, really good players, good young players as well. Do you know what I mean? Some of the best young players out there in the world. So hopefully we can mix and blend, but we do need to sort out, in my opinion, that midfield position. I do think that, of course, I know you've got Gundogan in there. Gundogan's obviously a really, really good player, and I really, really like Gundogan. But outside of Gundogan, your options aren't really popping, and I feel like that's an area. I know they're potentially looking at getting in Nico Williams to play on that left-hand side. No problem. Sell players like Rafinha, or if you're going to keep him, he's going to have to be a squad player and understand that. But I do think you need to just sort out that central midfield position. Just they need like a Rakitic type of player. I know they've got Frankie De Jong. They've got these players. That's the maddest thing. They have Gavi, they have Pedri, they have De Jong. But these men are all injury prone. De Jong, but Gavi and Pedri definitely very, very injury prone, and that's 19 and 21 years of age, respectfully. So, yeah, like I'm like, I don't know. I need another player in there. But again, the window is long. Let's wait and see. It's only, we're still in July. Hopefully, they can, sort it out and go from there. Last but not least, we have got Juventus. Again, another team, new manager coming in, Thiago Motta. Thiago Motta, I didn't watch a lot of his football last season, but from the little I did watch, and again, just from the reports of what people were saying, football was really, really good. Football was really, really good, at Bologna. And I think that looking at that, and again, just looking at that alone, maybe that was one of the reasons as to why they felt that, he was able to get Bologna into 5th position, last season, getting him into that Champions League spot. Why can't he then, progress a team like Juventus? And again, I look at Juventus and I know, last season, for me, it was very up and down. They finished in 3rd, behind Inter and Milan. That's funny, behind Inter, Milan. Finishing behind those, I'm so dumb. But finishing behind those two teams, the performances for me, though, were what were key. I think I watched about 5-6 games of theirs last season, and I just always felt like, you're not really, do you know what I mean? It just doesn't seem there, if I'm being totally honest with you. I mean, you got Atalanta right behind you, in this kind of scenario, but even still, it just didn't really feel like it was there, for a team like Juventus. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it was. I don't understand why, but it is what it is. I know, obviously, of course, Allegri leaving and stuff like that. But Thiago Motta's football is going to be the most interesting point. If he can replicate what he did with Bologna in terms of the style of play. Now, of course, I know you go into a new team. It might not be the exact thing that you do. Like, it's not going to be, it might not be like a carbon copy. Like, yeah, okay, I played 4-3-3, did this, that, and the other. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. It might not be like that. It could be tweaked a little bit. But I do think the nucleus of the way that he was playing, I think that's what really allowed for a team like Bologna. My thing is, I don't know if you'll be able to necessarily do that moving forward with a Juventus because it's a different type of setup. But again, we'll wait and see, and we'll see how that one goes. When you're looking at a team like them, of course, they got in Douglas Luiz. They did that swap deal. I think they let Samuel Illing Jr., I think he went the other way, to Aston Villa. Kefren Turam, another new signing as well. They got in Weston McKennie, Fagioli, who's a very good player. I like him. Locatelli, Matteo De Cilio, Danilo, Cambiasso, Rugani. I like Rugani. He's a decent player. I like him. Bremer at centre back. Fucking hell, still got bloody Chesney, which I just found very funny. Very, very funny. Going down, we got obviously Fabio Moretti. He's one of my players to watch. We'll talk about him in a second. Who else have they got in there? Timothy Weir, Chiesa, obviously. Matthias Saul, very good right winger. I liked him. I liked him last season. Yildiz, the Turkish international, we saw him during the Euros. Again, another very decent player. Vlahovic as well, and Milic. So again, they've got some very, very decent players, very, very decent players. And, you know, this, come on, man, we're talking about one of the best teams, you know, out there in Europe, you know, or one of the biggest teams anyway out there in Europe. So, of course, you know, we need to be seeing a lot better, you know, from a team, you know, like Juventus. And I don't even just mean, you know, in terms of, I don't just mean in terms of domestically. I also mean in Europe, man, because I just feel like with Juve, I'm like, for a team so big, like, I don't know, man. Like Europe, you ain't really been popping like that. Do you know what I mean? Like I know you won the Champions League once, in your time, but yeah, man, I don't know, man. I just feel like they just need to be better in that regards. But my one player to watch now, I could have chose Matthias Saul. I really like Saul, by the way. If you watch my player watch, you'll see he's on there. But Moretti, he's one I definitely like. You know, he's kind of like what's the word? Like a orchestrator, like a bit of a bit of an orchestrator in there, but a slash kind of like playmaker. You know, he's someone who got good stamina, got natural fitness and stuff like that. He knows how to dictate tempo, you know, quite well. Only 20 years of age as well, which is, you know, pretty good, you know, for the team. I think he's someone who, I'm not saying necessarily you have to build your team around, so to speak, but he's definitely someone you look at and think that's obviously one for now and the future, you know, because he's good enough to play in the first team now anyway. So why not? Why can't he be someone, you know, for the future? I really, really like him though. I think he can be one of those kind of midfielders that with time and development just turn into this kind of boss midfielder. And all of a sudden top teams just start looking at, and I say top teams like Juve in one of them, but you know what I mean? Like, your Real Madrid and stuff like that, eventually you start looking at these kind of players. You're like, oh, maybe there is a space for, you know, for someone like him. You know, at the moment, of course, still has a bit of time to develop. Played a fair few amount of games last season as well. So yeah, man, he's definitely one player to watch. And to be fair, Juve have quite a lot of players in their academy that you could also pick, and players in their first team that you could have potentially gone with. Yildiz obviously being one of those players, but he's just the one that, you know, I kind of went for, man. But that's kind of it, people, in terms of today's pilot episode. So, of course, we've got Juve being one of the teams. Can they win back, you know, that Serie A next season? Then you've got Barca. Can they topple Real Madrid? That's going to be an interesting watch. Can Bayern Munich topple Bayern Leverkusen, you know, in their domestic league? And then, of course, how well will Lyon be able to do? You know, of course, they had that good end to the season. Where does that take them next season? I think personally, they should be looking at, you know, potentially a Champions League slot. But of course, we shall wait and see. But guys, let me know in the comments in terms of which players you're excited to see for next season, which team you're excited to watch next season as we go through, you know, throughout the campaign. Let me know, of course, in the comment section, people, your thoughts. I'm G. Catch you guys for episode 2